hear her yet. Hang on, she's coming. Are you ready? Under Sheriff, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Roll call.
Jenny David.
Here.
Roger Mayhew.
Yes.
Charles Wiltie.
Here.
Brenda Simmons.
Yes.
Craig Scott.
Here.
Item 2, any additions or corrections to the agenda, commissioners? We entertain a motion to.
Can you give me a second to look at it?
Yes, sir.
Oh, on that where they had to come to us to hire people, did we ever vote on that or do that? We talked about it.
Action on it,
So would you like to put that under unfinished business?
Yeah, why not?
or even new.
Okay, new hires, or I guess vacancies,
I mean,
job vacancies? Or unfinished? Okay, any other additions or corrections?
Excellent. Make a motion to accept it with addition.
I'll
Motion
second.
motion from Commissioner Scott, support from Commissioner Wiltie. Any further discussion? All in favor, say yes.
Yes,
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 3, declaration of conflicts of interest. Are there any?
Yeah, down here on
Tomorrow.
7C. On a medical benefit deal, I have 2 daughters that work there
That work where?
at the courthouse,
The county building, okay?
county building.
you don't derive any benefit from their work.
No, I absolutely don't. I'm just letting you.
Yeah, I don't see any.
I don't see
conflict there.
I don't see conflict.
Okay.
Thank you for stating that. Item 4, review of minutes. We have September 28th, 2023, regular meeting minutes.
I've reviewed the minutes. I'll make a motion to accept them.
Motion for Commissioner Wiltie,
Let's support.
support from Commissioner Scott. Any further discussion? All in favor, say yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4B, October 5th, 2023, Committee of the Whole meeting minutes.
I've read the committee whole minutes and I make a motion that we accept them.
We have a motion from Commissioner Wiltie,
support.
support from Commissioner Scott. Any further discussion? All in favor, say yes.
Yes,
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 5, public comment on agenda items only. Is there any public comment in the room? Any public comment on the phone? Item 6, correspondence. We received correspondence from Alcona County, Alpena County, Asaba Valley Community Mental Health Authority, Clinton County Department of Human Services related to their budget report, Huron County and Northeast Michigan Community Service Agency, and the Ogemaw County Road Commission. Those have been received and filed. Item 7, consent. Agenda. I think we need to take these individually. There's only 2 on there. Item 7A, resolution to approve 2023 report of tax to apportioned pursuant to the General Property Tax Act. Oh, my goodness. This resolution is sponsored by the Equalization Director, Randy Booth. Section 37 of the General Property Tax Act requires that the County Board of Commissioners to hold an apportionment session and approve an apportionment report in October of each year. Approval of the resolution will provide final authorization for the levy of property taxes upon which taxing authorities depend to provide educational, health, economic development, public safety, and other services which are important to the well-being of the county economy and Ogemaw County residents. Randy, do you have anything? I guess I'll wait, see if someone's, I'll make the motion to support this.
second.
We have a motion with support from Commissioner Scott. Randy, do you have anything to add to this?
No, I presented it to you last week. All the millage levies are there. I did add a tax revenue analysis page. And kind of included how much senior hard copy reports. I sent it late yesterday, but I did for the first time this year, I put in how much revenues lost through DDAs, veterans exemptions, some other miscellaneous stuff that's impacting your budget.
I did not see that. Where is that at?
It's in the hard copy report I gave you and
Thank you.
give me copies.
Okay.
I did not, is that in my mailbox?
No, well, your report is, yes.
The hard copy?
Yes, you had requested
Okay,
last week.
I did. I've not made it to my mailbox yet.
Thank you.
So I put each of them in your mailboxes, but
Thank you.
just for your information, the between the DDA recapture, veterans exemptions. There's one other one. Oh, and the personal property loss from the reductions in personal property. It's just about $500,000 annually. For Ogemaw County loses in general operating taxes.
Yep.
Questions, comments? I appreciate this. Because there are some questions when we're out and about at our townships from time to time. But I mean, the DDA also invests this money back into
They do. I'm just,
the area.
yeah, I've been asked this question, how much is recapture? And so, and this is the total on the taxes as they're projected. It doesn't account for any tribunals or other things that can lower the taxes, you know what I'm saying? So it's an estimate, but just so you have that figure, I know I've had people come in and ask me how much the different districts capture for taxes.
Question.
Go ahead.
Just looking at this, Ogemaw Township was only to capture the operating. Nothing else, no other.
Ogemaw Township, and this is just operating millage. This does not include any extra voted millage levies.
You have the voted transit that with seniors voted. And you show sums up in each of those rows. I understand this is an estimated
Yeah.
capture, but I think those should be all show zero.
I don't know that it's in the total calculation, because I think I did the total just on the calculation.
Okay, but
I will,
still in all, just to keep the record straight, they are only to collect off operating.
Where, Commissioner Scott, where are you looking? I guess that you had me lost.
Over here, about 3/4 over the page is Ogemaw under DDA.
Yep.
Tax increment captures, only that 32,000. All those other millages, isn't that the agreement, Tim?
Yes.
All the others should be zero. Show
Yes, the
zero.
board finalized agreement with Ogemaw Township and the city of Rose City last year where they're not capturing extra voted millages, just the county operational millage.
Right,
I will correct that and get it out to you.
okay.
Any further questions? Roll call vote.
Jenny David,
Yes.
Roger Mayhew,
Yes.
Charles Wiltie,
Yes.
Brenda Simmons,
Yes.
Craig Scott.
Yes,
Item 7B, resolution to adopt the Ogemaw County Public Transit Title VI program. This resolution is sponsored by the Transit Director Ray Blamer. Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 prohibits discrimination on the basis of race, color, or national origin in the programs and activities receiving federal financial assistance. Ogemaw County is committed to ensuring that no person is excluded from participation in or denied the benefits of its transit services on the basis of race, color, or national origin. Approval of the resolution will formally adopt the Ogemaw County Public Transit Title VI program document to guide Ogemaw County Public Transit in its administration management of activities related to Title VI.
I'll make the motion to adopt the resolution.
I'll second.
Motion from Commissioner Scott, support from Commissioner Wiltie. Any further discussion? Ray was here and answered our questions.
Yeah, just like you said, boilerplate stuff coming down from the federal government.
Any further questions? All in favor, say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item 7C, resolution to adopt medical benefit contribution limit for calendar year 2024. This resolution is sponsored by Healthcare Coalition, the Publicly Funded Health Insurance Contribution Act, PA 152, of two thousand 11 sets forth limits on public employer contributions towards a medical benefit plan and any payments for reimbursement of co-pays, deductibles, or payments into health savings accounts, flexible spending accounts, or similar accounts used for healthcare costs. The proposed resolution imposes the hard caps option, which limits a public employer's total annual healthcare costs for employees based on its coverage levels as annually determined by the Michigan Department of Treasury. Someone like to entertain this?
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion from Commissioner Scott, support from Commissioner Simmons. Discussion. Tim, can you elaborate on this?
I can. This was, actually went into effect, almost a little over 10 years ago now. Each year municipalities and talk about counties in particular, get to choose between the three options: a hard cap, 80-20, or exemption. 80-20, we talked about briefly when we were going through the budget process. And you might recall that one of the conversations that's led to the partial acknowledgement that the hard cap would be the way to go is we have one of our collective bargaining agreements that specifically says that the hard cap is the choice that we'll make. That's the only one that's not on the MESA plan. All of the other plans leave that opportunity to the board each year. And when we did talk about this, one of the budget sessions, there was not much appetite on the part of the board to even entertain the 80-20 because I'm probably paraphrasing here, but because that just didn't want to make that imposition on the employees. Now, counties can choose the exemption option. However, that usually happens when the 80-20 doesn't work and they don't want to do hard caps. Well, that's not our case here. The hard cap option actually works, I think, quite well for this county. So you wouldn't need to exempt, but exemption is certainly an option. What we do with the hard cap when the state releases those numbers each year is we compare that to what the rates are for the health insurance premiums that the employees are able to choose from through open enrollment. And with a number of the plans that are offered between the single, two-person, and family, some of the high deductible plans are well under the hard cap. And we reach that hard cap number by making that contribution of the addition or the difference between the premium and the hard cap, make that contribution to the health savings account for those employees, which helps offset those high deductibles and co-pays that they have to work with. We did negotiate with our other units that are on the MESA plan that we put together this health coalition, and we meet each year to go over the options. We did that back, I think it was September 25th. There was no appetite really at that point to change any of the plans that we have. There is still a potential of another plan being introduced, but we'll have to wait for determination from MESA. But this would continue the practice that we've had now, well, since I've been here anyway. I don't know that you ever went to 80-20 prior to that. This is not an optional resolution, meaning the board has to act on something under PA 152, even if it's to exempt yourselves, but you have to act prior to the start of the fiscal year. Prior to the start of the calendar year. But this is, the hard cap is already baked into the budget for fiscal year 24.
We did vote for 80-20 1 year before negotiations. And then during negotiations, the board rescinded that and went back to hard cap. It was never implemented. Correct, Karen? Was never implemented, but it was voted on and approved to do that.
Any further questions? This is no different than what's happening right now,
It's not.
correct? It's not going to affect the employees at all. Okay. Commissioner Simmons, did you have something?
No, but, there are already somebody that are under hard cap, and there's nothing, so everybody should be under the same as far as I'm concerned in the county, hard cap. Because usually, that's under hard cap now,
Any further discussion?
no.
No.
Mm.
Okay. I think this is gonna just, all in favor, say yes.
Yes.
I don't think we need a roll call on this, do we?
I don't think so.
Oh. All in favor, say yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 8, new business, resolution to approve appointments of board canvassers. This resolution is sponsored by County Clerk Brett Gittner. Michigan election law, PA 116 of 1954 established a 4-member board of county canvassers in every Michigan county. It is the duty of the Board of County Canvassers to conduct all recounts of elections in cities, townships, villages, school districts, metropolitan districts, or any other districts. Selection of the members of the Board of County Canvassers must be made from each of the 2 political parties casting the greatest number of votes for Secretary of State at the preceding general November election in the county. Within 10 days after convening for their annual meeting, the Board of Commissioners must elect by ballot one of the nominees to each position. Upon approval, the proposed resolution appoints Dale Sheltron, Democrat, Christine D. Troyer, Republican, to the Board of County Canvassers for terms to expire October 31st, 2027. The resolution also corrects the term expiration of member Pat Van Osten to October 31st, 2025 to comply with the statutory odd year appointment cycle.
I'll make a motion to pass the resolution.
We have a motion from Commissioner Scott,
A second.
support from Commissioner Wiltie. Breck, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I put in front of you guys, the 3 names from the Democratic Party that they submitted. Dale Sheltron. Absolutely, he is the current chair right now. He is still interested, very interested in continuing this, so. I agree with the recommendation. He does a great job. So we just need approval then from you guys.
So I guess we're voting on the expiration of these 3 here. I guess, do you need anything from us here?
So his expires this year.
Dale Sheltron's?
Yes, the other 2 are just corrections to the previous resolution. So I need from you guys.
So this is 2 separate things we're
To vote.
gonna be voting on, correct?
Not really. The 3 names, each party when needing to fill a time slot has to put up 3 names as suggestions, as to look at.
Are these-
Our decision to pick out of the 3.
Are these other 2, Richard Bott and John Williams, interested, or were they just names that was given from the Democratic Party?
I have not personally heard from them. So I do not think that they are as interested as Dale is.
So we're voting on, according to this, appointing Dale Sheltron, Christine D. Troyer, and their terms will expire October 31st, 2027, and Pat Van Osten will expire October 31st, 2025. They are all 3 that
Correct.
they're currently on there.
Correct.
How long has Dale served on the board?
As long, yeah,
16 years.
quite some time, yeah. He is, like I said, he's the chair. He is very well versed in this position.
And you haven't heard from these other 2
Mm-mm.
that are interested, okay.
No.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Commissioner Simmons.
What's the difference between this and the one that we have on our,
We have a resolution on our screen.
That's
Right.
what I was asking. I was asking if these were 2 separate things that we were gonna be voting on. These are the 3 names that were given to us.
Right. This-
Dale Sheltron is the top one that is currently serving on the board that wants to continue with he's the Democratic individual,
this is just for the Board of Canvassers, right?
correct?
And then on this one, we have him on here again.
Yeah, with a term, with an expiration of his term, which would be October 31st, 2027.
Right. The resolution reflects Brecht's recommendation
Right.
to put Dale Shelter on it.
Right, I see where the confusion though. It
Yeah.
confused me a touch as well. To me, it looked initially, to me, it just looked like it was two separate things that we were talking about.
No, that should, the resolution is, because Dale is the only one that has reached out to me expressing.
The other two parties on the resolution is their changes of dates, right? Because
Their expiration dates.
They're just changes of date. They're remaining members anyway.
Right.
They are the Republicans of the committee. 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats.
It doesn't list what it doesn't list what Pat Van Osten is.
She's a Republican.
Yeah.
It doesn't state that.
Is.
So is Troy here.
The other two are stated.
She is a Democrat.
Who is?
Who?
Pat
Pat
and
is?
Dale are Democrats, and Chris and Maria, who is not on this resolution, because there's nothing needs to be amended for her.
Is a Republican.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, that's thanks, right.
So there's 4 total on the Board of Canvassers.
Mhm.
Okay, so that, I guess maybe that should have been included in there too. Like the other name with when her term expires.
Can we add?
When does Maria's expire?
25.
25,
25.
yeah.
And why isn't she on here?
Because
These are just we're amending the previous, Jim, am I correct in that? We're amending the previous resolutions for the Republicans.
What we had was essentially a typo when Ms. Van Osten was appointed. There was a 2024 expiration date that is not consistent with the statute. It needed to be 25. This is
The odd year.
and in the odd numbered years.
Mhm.
And so you would have 2 that would expire in 25 and 2 in 27. The other member is already set on the October 31, 25. So there's no action needed there whatsoever. We're just correcting that, what I will just classify as a typo. I'm sure that's all it was. But just making sure that the official record is clear as to exactly who's on this board and when their terms expire. In 2 years, when this comes up, this won't be an issue. You'll see 2 names and that'll be it.
Do you want what party they're in the resolution?
I think it would help keep us all straight,
Just,
all
yeah.
parties on there and their expiration.
I agree.
Keep it all together and contained.
well, I made the motion, so I'll amend the motion to include that.
What's Maria's last name?
Puranen?
I'll second that.
We have a motion with support for the resolution to approve appointments of Board of Canvassers with the stated changes. Any further discussion?
Thank you, guys.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. 8B, consideration of early retirement plan. A draft early retirement plan is presented as requested for Board of Considerations. No action is recommended at this meeting, but discussion will continue at the October 19th Committee of the Whole meeting. So Tim, there's no action here.
Right. I did just want to walk through what this plan is with you today. In fact, the things that I really want you to focus on are highlighted in yellow, not that the rest of the text isn't important. But there are some requirements that a plan like this would have to include. The first one, under the general description, after assuming this were passed, any employee who wanted to participate in the early retirement plan could revoke their application in a 3-day window after signing on to it. So that gives an opportunity for second thoughts and what have you. The next section, though, becomes critical from a timing perspective. Because there are requirements under various federal statutes that when we do voluntary separation, the employee has to be given an opportunity to reconsider over a 45-day period. So we've got a couple of things in play. We've got the 3-day rule, but the 45-day rule is the one that really is setting the schedule, if you will, for how we go about doing this. These dates will change. These dates were selected based on, if you really wanted to approve something today, that's what they would be. But assuming that you'll agree to continue conversation next week at Committee of the Whole, those dates will be moved back 2 weeks. That's okay. We'll be fine doing that. But we do definitely want to make a determination here in the next round whether or not this is something the board wants to do. Now, I have been working on the numbers for this. There are just a couple of variables yet. I still need to confirm with MERS. But I do want to, perhaps as early as tomorrow, certainly no later than Monday, is get to you those worksheets so you can see what the impact is on the budget, not only for fiscal year 24, but we'll program it out 2 more years so that you can see the impact of what this will do to the wage schedules for these departments that are impacted. The budget that we approved a couple of weeks ago, as you know, includes the layoffs of various positions. If we were to just simply proceed as planned, those notices would have to go out tomorrow. Without any objection here, I'd like to postpone doing that until this conversation is finished, because it's a very real chance that should you agree to do this, that we won't need to lay off as many. But there are just a few things yet that are in play. Obviously, we don't know for sure because we don't have anything in writing that we even have any interest in the employees involved. So that's key, but we would certainly know that relatively quickly. Another thing to point out to you is that this is a very narrowly defined early retirement opportunity. This would be only for employees of the county under this plan who have 25 years or more of service with the county. And there's also an incentive element that we really want to talk about in detail at the committee of the whole next week. This also involves some changes to the actual retirement plan itself through MERS to allow this to happen. That is a mandatory subject of bargaining. I have asked the attorneys yesterday to let me know if this is something that could be done in closed session. And frankly, if it is part of the mandatory subject of bargaining, that's where we usually do those kind of conversations. So that's in play as well. So we may be talking about some elements of this in closed session next week. I'll wait for the attorney's opinion to be certain. As far as incentive right now, that's blank because that's the thing that we really need to talk about here. I don't want to make any presumption about what that might be or if there would even be any incentive at all. That's the conversation that we have to have with the board. So what I would just suggest is that we put this on the committee of the whole for next week. We get into the major discussion to go over the budget impacts and move forward from there with a resolution in 2 weeks at the next regular meeting.
I guess why is this has been conversation now since that we approved the budget. Why is this taking so long to get this information from MERS?
Because I'm not quite sure what to ask them yet. One of the things that we have to do each year is we have to do with each of our divisions. There's a checklist of variables that go into each one of these, and I need to get a hold of that yet so that we narrowly define that. I've also been in conversation with the union reps about this. I don't want any unpleasant surprises thrown their way either. It just takes time, and frankly, crunching the numbers has taken way more time than what I had anticipated, but it's pretty involved. We're dealing with a number of variables, not just wages, but we're also including benefits that are involved in that, and then comparing that to positions that are potentially scheduled for layoff and determining if there really is savings there.
Well, understandable, but these people are also waiting. This is their livelihood and their jobs and trying to make a decision of what to do. And we're already 2 or 3 weeks out, and now we're talking about another 2 weeks. And I any comments?
Yeah, there's a lot of unknowns right here. How many people are eligible for this?
I count 4
And they are,
employees.
I guess my other question is why close? I mean, this is going to impact obviously for employees. Why close session for this?
Closed session is an option. It's never required in this case. So just as a cautionary issue, we're talking about having to do what would amount to probably a letter of agreement with one of the unions. That's how we typically do that, but we don't have to. It's an option that's available to you, but you don't have to go to closed session to do that.
I mean, I just, with those 4 people, I guess, that are eligible, if we do choose to go into closed session, I guess, will they have the option to be part of that?
That is up to the board. Commissioner Scott?
Yeah, well. I don't know which 4, but are they all under bargaining agreements?
Yes.
So then we're dealing with the union, not the people. Okay, they make the choice, but we have to work within the contract talk, so the union has to be involved. Because they have to approve allowing this to happen. The one thing I'd like to see is an expanded list down to 20 years. Just to look at.
That would increase the number of potential eligible employees to 8.
8?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, already, no, okay.
No, what?
It would expand it to 8. He already knows it expands it to 8.
So do you still want that? You just want the number of people?
Yeah.
Did you want the cost savings, like the numbers as well?
No,
Okay,
that's fine right now for me. I mean, we can talk this over right now. We don't have to go into close. We can talk about this right now if you want to. I mean, if you don't want to wait 2 weeks.
well, I don't think there's anything, we don't have numbers. We can't really, there's nothing more to talk about. There's 4 people eligible. Now we need to see numbers and see if it's even
Would you like to
financially.
go that much further and look at it?
Look at what?
The whole program. I mean, it's you. I'm asking you if you'd like to pursue this.
I think it's an option, but I want to see if it's gonna save some jobs, absolutely, but I want to see the numbers and what it's gonna
Okay.
do.
That's fine with me. I just want to know if I didn't, through your conversation, I couldn't pick up whether you wanted to keep going with it or not.
We have a lot of people right now that are waiting to hear, and,
Yeah.
and we're
Fine.
quite a ways out already. I'm just shocked that this is taking this extended period of time.
Because we brought this up a few months ago and it didn't seem like it was gonna go.
Right.
We dropped it.
We did.
Now there's interest from the employee, so we're bringing it back up again.
But I think when 8 jobs got cut, that definitely
Okay, that's fine. I'm all.
sparked the
all in
topic
favor.
again.
All in favor, of it. Yeah.
Commissioner Wiltie?
Yeah, I'd like to see this keep moving along as fast as we can, but like Tim said, there's some very valuable numbers here and we need to make sure they're right, but I do understand that as soon as we can do this, the better.
So the layoffs are gonna be delayed at this point in time, is just so I understood you correctly?
Maybe a 2-week delay.
He's asking us.
Absolutely.
So there are some questions here. There's some unanswered questions if this is gonna even go at all or not, right?
Right.
So we're doing 2 weeks for something that may not even fly.
Well, it's 2 more weeks of employment.
That's true.
We need a motion, we need actions to say that we're going to hold off.
You don't need to make the motion to do that, other than
Okay.
to say, put it on the committee of the whole next week. That's it.
And tomorrow was the day to get the notifications, right?
Right, and in that case, again, without objection from the board, that's what I'll do. I'll just wait on issuing those notices until we've had this conversation to its fruition.
Any further discussion? Item 8C claims. Claims totaled $233,043.79. Commissioner Simmons and Commissioner Scott reviewed claims.
One thing I noticed was, I didn't realize that the sheriff's department was on a septic tank. Is it on a septic tank? Well, then why did Willie's pump a septic tank?
So there's a drainage system in the garage where they wash the cars and whatnot.
Oil water separator.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
tied into the sewer line.
It
so
separates the oil off of the water. The water goes into the sewer, the oil separator will go into a tank. Then it has to be pumped.
So they suck out the oil?
No, the problem that we run into is all the sand and dirt that comes off there will build up over time, and we've had a couple of experiences of that sand getting into the line and blocking it. So Little Willie's was called and had to come and snake that for us and clean it out, because we were getting backup in our toilets and sinks, and
Okay, so it wasn't pumping at all, it was like,
it was cleaning a sewer line.
okay, gotcha.
Ties into the
Okay.
system, so.
Yeah, it's not just oil, it's
Yeah,
sediment.
I understand. I just thought, I thought they were on sewer.
We had one at Waste Management. Because otherwise the sand goes right into the sewer system and the township would just go ballistic.
And another thing, on the things I noticed was, we had one department, pay what, over $20 in sales tax. I didn't think the county was subject to sales tax. Is that correct?
Did you
I didn't
catch
catch
it?
it.
Did you catch it? Did you?
Yeah, I put the folders, I thought I made a note on the invoice itself. I don't know. Maybe I asked, Tracy, I keep.
Did you-
thinking Karen's still in the clerk's office.
Did you talk to Tracy? Cause I took the bin in and said that you had questions on them.
Yeah, did she, I never received a call or nothing, I thought she'd call me.
Is Tracy on?
Did we
Tracy?
pull those with sales tax on
No, she's,
it? Cause I had put the folders up that had the questions on them, and I put the questions right on the invoice. We shouldn't be paying that sales tax.
she.
And it was over 20.
Well, we didn't know if you're, because, I don't remember which department it was, but it said your handwritten questions on it. And then you go back into one of the receipts and it said, is this the answer?
On one of them, I
We
put,
assumed that you got that taken care of.
I didn't get any of it taken care of, I mean, it was after hours. When I did the bills, and I put the note right on there. You know, this is over $20, I put the exact, it's 20 some odd dollars, I put the exact amount, we paid in sales tax on that invoice.
Okay,
Look into
so I just told her to get on. So we're clear going forward then, is it Tracy's responsibility to explain any questions on it or the department heads that submitted them?
Well, it's animal control with, Ogemaw County veterinarian. And there's over $20 worth of sales tax on there. I'm surprised
Suggest sending that
you
back to
didn't
the,
catch it.
yeah, well, go through them, at that level. I would suggest sending it back to the department, have them follow up. So maybe another invoice would be issued without the sales tax.
Have Tracy do that or
Send
have,
it back to the department to do that.
Yes, under sheriff.
Now that I know it's
Thank you.
animal control, I would have missed that during the claims process. Normally, when we have an issue like that, at least in our departments, will submit for reimbursement of that tax. So I will contact the vet's clinic and ask for that tax to be reimbursed. Will reflect.
Or we could just pay the invoice without paying the tax.
Yeah, I guess we could. I would just have to explain it to them then, I guess. Just take the tax off it and,
Yeah, cause it's over $20.
yeah.
Good catch, Brenda.
Yeah, I must have missed that during the claims procedure.
I know sales tax is one that always just beams up right in my eyes. I'm always looking for sales tax.
Was that Ogemaw vet?
Yes, mhm.
I see there's some inmate medical expenses for Mid-Michigan. I had a question on something else too. Airport had, that was just a pass through, correct? I see.
That's our first annual, our first half contribution.
Yeah.
The city made their first half also
Yeah.
already.
So that's the only thing so there may have been one more, but I don't have my notes on me right now. But that was the main thing I saw was,
Tim, did you go to a conference? I think I seen a reimbursement in there.
We did. We went to one day of the MAC conference last week.
I also looked over claims, you'll see some housing, uh, higher costs in housing. Miller Construction got a draw
I see that 51,000.
51,000. And then there was, a couple of bigger ones that are special funds. So,
I didn't see anything unusual except what I mentioned.
You still want Tracy? She just got on.
Seems like we have a cover.
About the sales tax?
No. No, the undersheriff's gonna follow up with it.
Yeah.
Okay, any
About the
further,
sales tax?
huh?
About the sales tax, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, do you need Tracy still? She just got on.
No, I just say we pay the bill and don't pay the sales tax.
Okay.
But I'd call up the veterinarian and let them know what's happening, because the county does not pay sales tax.
I'll contact the vet's clinic and let them know what happened, and then I'll give them the tax exempt form, just to make sure we're covered.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any other discussion? Did somebody put a motion on the table? Oh,
just open it up.
sorry. I did that backwards.
I'll make the motion to it.
Motion for Commissioner Scott,
A second.
support from Commissioner Wiltie. Any further discussion? I apologize for that.
Pay-
Roll call vote, huh? Pardon me?
Just to pay the bills.
Yeah. Roll call vote.
Roger Mayhew,
Yeah.
Charles Wiltie,
Yes.
Brenda Simmons,
Yes.
Craig Scott,
Yes,
Jenny David.
Yes. Item 9, unfinished business, job vacancies for the county. Who wanted this added?
Roger,
Pardon me?
Roger.
Roger.
Yeah, Commissioner Mayhew, for unfinished business.
Yeah, well, we're supposed to approve the new employees.
From the departments. We brought that up, especially with the financial position that we're currently in.
Could probably address that quickly. The appropriation resolution that you adopted on September 28th included a statement that said positions vacated during the fiscal year shall not be filled prior to review and approval by the Board of Commissioners.
That's any and all positions, correct?
Right.
So has a memo gone out to,
I was supposed to have a meeting with departments on Monday. I had to postpone that, having missed last week, but we will be reviewing that, among other things, on Monday this coming week.
Will you repeat that?
Positions vacated during the fiscal year shall not be filled prior to review and approval by the Board of Commissioners. So this could occur even at a, committee of the whole meeting, where if there's a vacancy, a department head would come in and say, well, I have this vacancy, intention is to fill it. Have all the information, obviously, that you need in terms of, pay benefits and everything that goes with that. And it should not necessarily be a long process, but, it could be, but it's just the check and balance to make sure that we are on solid fiscal ground.
Correct,
That was passed already or has not been
It's
passed?
been passed, yes.
correct. What's the date on that?
September 28th.
So did you hear
It's-
that? It needs to go out to all department heads and.
Oh, I knew we talked, I just didn't know if it got passed.
Okay,
I wanna make sure it had.
is everybody, any questions with that? Commissioner Simmons, do you have any questions?
No, I thought it already passed too. That's,
Commissioner Scott?
No.
Okay, any other unfinished business? Item 10, administrator/controllers report.
You have the longer report in the materials, but just a couple of things. I sent you an email earlier this week with an attorney's opinion regarding the use of the opioid fund for administrative purposes. I would ask that you allow me to release that opinion to the opioid committee. They have a meeting tonight, but that question had come up there as well. And it would certainly, from my perspective, help explain what that's all about. It's a fairly detailed analysis. The answer was in the affirmative, but there's, I think, some valuable information that's included in the opinion.
You need our permission?
Yeah, and frankly, I'd really like to have a motion to do that because otherwise it's a privileged document.
Did everybody get an opportunity to read that email? Any questions on it?
okay, go back to. Where, what,
The question was, with the opioid fund being restricted as it is with the settlement, the question was, could some of that money be used to reimburse the county for administrative support? So that's, for, meeting materials that might come up, whatever else that we put into it. This isn't something that just is organic that the committee does by itself. There has to be administrative support that goes along with that. And the question was, can the county be reimbursed for that? And to do so, I mean, the calculations will not be difficult. We go through a cost allocation plan each year. We just got the most recent one here about a couple of months ago. So it's very easy to go back and determine in particular, what the cost is on, per hour on the timing of it. So the opinion came back in the affirmative that it couldn't be used for that purpose, but there's an awful lot of analysis in there that I think will be valuable for the opioid committee.
Okay,
Just wants to release that information to the committee.
okay.
Any other questions on it?
I would just like to add, I mean, I've been pushing this. I mean, it's gonna take, Kelly was involved, she's no longer involved, so Tim is gonna have to step up, be more involved. That's time and energy during business hours. Our paper that's involved, Tom's energy for Zoom setup and all that. I mean, we should be reimbursed for all this.
I agree. I'll make the motion that we allow the administrator to share this information with the opioid committee.
We have a motion from Commissioner Scott,
I'll second.
support from Commissioner Wiltie. Any further discussion? All in favor, say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Anything else, Tim, on your administrator
Just one
session?
thing, when the meeting's over, I've got to pass a contract around that normally the board chair signature is sufficient, but this is the one for the indigent council contract, and they've asked for all commissioners to sign it. You've already voted on it. It's been approved, so that's fine. It's really a cosmetic thing. Once the board chair signs, it's legitimate, but they've asked for that. I'll pass that around, so that's all it is.
They want us all to sign?
They do. Well, it'd be collector's item at some point, right?
You're right.
I had a question on your written report. A draft job description for the transit director is Ray. I guess, has this just been something in the works that you're working on, or is there looking at replacement, or what's the?
Yeah, we don't have any notice from Ray at all, but we are just at the request of the committee, just looking at it, and we don't have one now anyway, and we really do need to do one. This was, it's been in the works for quite a while now. I finally was able to put it out in a draft form. We did take job descriptions from 4 surrounding counties, and that's how this one was crafted, obviously, to fine tune it to include some specific items, but it was a good exercise. I'm confident that we have a majority of the duties that are included in there, but I believe that'll go to the transit committee at some point. They'll take a look at it and add any input. Nothing urgent, but it's just part of this ongoing process of getting job descriptions.
I'd like to add to that too.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just to make it clear, there's no time description or anything from Ray regarding his retirement, but now that we have a transit committee, these are the type of items that we need to be more aggressive on. We need to look into the future to get set up. And we as a committee, felt that it would be a good idea to start that, because we do know with time, there will be new progression, new leadership there. So this is a good move to get started now.
Any other comments, questions? The certificates of insurance were distributed to various departments for the 41 vehicles. What was our count last year?
I would have to go back to that spreadsheet and look. I believe we added 2 cars
Okay.
this last year, but without that in front of me, I can't confirm.
So all that is just a proof of insurance was given to replace the vehicles, correct? Okay. Item 11, elected officials and department head reports. Clerk?
Brett Gildner, your Ogemaw County Clerk. I am in the final stages of working out the contract with the townships. I heard back from the attorney's office this morning, so I need to get that. The chair she'll have to sign that on behalf of Ogemaw.
Be a
Yeah.
contract, yes.
So I'll be in touch with you at some point in the near future, to get that going. So good things with that. This morning, went to the Chamber of Commerce 100-year celebration. That was pretty cool. Other than that, we are short-staffed right now. In regards to claims, if you guys can come in Monday or Tuesday during business hours, I know it might be hard for you to do that. The sooner the better for us as of right now, just with everything going on and Tracy having to do both sides of it, so. That's it.
Treasurer, oh, did you have a question further?
Yes. With the claims, and I understand the situation, and we did that this time too, so
Yeah.
for the claims, if you like to have them done during the day, if people are working, can't be there today, can you put them?
Yeah, that's fine. It just like
Yeah, you did for
this
me?
instant, when you have, I just want to know what process you guys want to follow. If you do have questions.
Well, if we circle and put notes in there and stuff, maybe Tracy could call us. About our questions,
Okay.
cause she would know when she's available in there versus us trying to call her, and maybe she's in a
Yeah, just
meeting or something.
Maybe leave your contact information on when
Yeah.
and you want to.
Right on the notes, yeah.
Yeah, if you want us to follow up.
Yep.
That would be fine. Yeah.
So, but I mean, you can ask Tracy too, how she would like to handle that. Cause maybe she has better idea. All right.
Well, and generally when you're there, like, I've said it. Like you had come in one time and asked a question and you can direct it towards that department head. They're the ones who submit the claims. They're the ones who are gonna know the answers. Most of the time. I don't care, whatever.
Okay, well, usually I'm there during the day, but this was
Yeah,
a surprise attack, so to speak.
it was one of
Stated.
those things where we were like, oh man, we don't have enough time. We gotta get these done.
Busy doing stuff, I don't know.
Well, I was planning on coming in last night, which I was gonna be in town anyways for the 911 meeting, so.
Right.
It didn't work out anyways, Treasurer, do you have?
Karen Pulowski, your Ogemaw County Treasurer, the quarterly investment reports and bank risk analysis reports are on your iPads for review. Let me know if you have any questions.
I did. I seen that interest was pretty, let me pull that up. Oh, shoot, where did it go?
Interest is doing well.
Yeah, I see that. The total interest there was,
The Michigan class investments alone was over $21,000.
that's what I seen. And that was just for the month, correct? Okay, that's what I want to make sure I read that correctly.
Yes, our interest rates are doing very well.
And I don't really know what but you're getting A's. I don't really know what.
Yeah, our banks are safe that we're investing with, and then Michigan class is collateralized, so
I
safe
see.
investments.
Seeing that. So nice job.
Thank you.
Any questions? Sheriff?
Can I come back after he's done?
Can you what?
Can I speak again?
Yeah. Come on up. Hi.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Brian Gilbert, Sheriff Ogemaw. Just a few things. Get out there. In your packet, you had, the stats of September. Mileage is up there is 19,000 miles that we traveled over that. Several traffic stops, verbal warnings, so on and so forth. We kind of laid this out a little bit differently and I like it better this way. It's easier to follow, but if you notice on the townships, we picked that up quite a bit on the hours patrols, so I put a department email out that we need to step that up a little bit to be seen. It's not that they don't go through them townships, it's just that they haven't been putting it on their dailies, so they're increased their patrol time for them townships for in the future, so.
Is Rose Township up so much because they've hired somebody? Did I read that they hired somebody new for the city or are in the process of hiring?
They have not. I increased that patrol just to help them folks up there without no coverage, so And our guys has been really stepping it up to help them people. So, yeah, we just stepped it up a little bit because they have no patrol.
Are they in the process? I think I
They
saw
are,
something.
they have 2 applicants right now.
Okay.
So. And also, I scanned this, but it's not in your packet, and apparently I didn't email it to you, but I will when I get back to the office. It was our statistics for the Marine Patrol and ORV for the summertime. So there, I'll just briefly say that the ORV had a patrol hours of 242 hours, 518 contacts. And I will get this off to you folks. I just noticed today that it wasn't in your packet, so. And Marine Patrol, we had a total of 73.5 hours patrol. The lakes patrolled was 19, verbal warnings was 21, and we handled 7 complaints. Voter safety class, we had 3 students that we educated, so I'll get that off to you though. I apologize for not doing that. And also, I got a couple things that I wanna get out there, that pursuit that we had a few weeks ago. We had GPS in our cars and that worked out great. Our dispatch center was knowing where our exact location was, which relayed that in Gladwin County. Got the spike strips out. It works so uniformly because of that GPS. And I was proactive in putting GPS in them cars for our safety and just for that prime example. So I appreciate that. And also here this week, I moved animal control officer over to our office. I made him an office there so we have better communication with him. And he's okay with the move. I set him up with a really nice office, so he's happy there. That way I can work on getting some stats. We've been kind of lax on the stats, but them will be coming. I have better communication with him, so that was one of the reasons why I did that. And also today we are taking advantage of a state program. What the state does, when they get the new patrol cars, they get their new Tahoes, for whatever reason, they take them tires off and they put on new tires. So the brand new tires that they pull off, we're buying them for $25 a piece. So we shot down there today. We're getting 30 tires, which is going to save us tremendous amount of money and it will help our budget out. So
Good deal.
So that's in the works. And Kip, our canine dog, is getting state certified. He is state certified, but he has to do it annually to keep up on it. They're down there right now getting trained. He's going to be competing against 22 dogs. And our dog is ranked #1 for the last 2 years. He's going to go up against 22 dogs, I believe. So out of my years of service, this is the best dog I've ever seen work with the handler, and it's a combined effort. The handler and the dog. I mean, these two click. They are very good for this county. I've never seen a dog this good. To be honest with you. So he's down there getting recertified. That's all I have.
Any questions for the sheriff?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I have a question.
Commissioner Simmons?
This basically goes back to claims. When you got up here, I just thought about it. So, the Marine Patrol, vehicle boat has been shrunk wrap, right?
Yes.
So does that grant cover the shrink wrap, all the hours and everything?
I don't know that, Brenda. I would think it would, but I can check.
Yes. Mr. Castleman is stating yes.
Yes, it does?
Yes. There's your answer. Thank you.
Commissioner Scott?
Well, I was asking about Marine Patrol because I did the claims too, and I saw that. So we're done with Marine Patrol this year.
Yes, I've got one boat open It's not shrink wrap just because duck season is coming up and I want to have.
Oh, you, guys.
In case there's a problem.
I
You guys
do.
need shotgun help too, or? You know?
No, that's, we let that, we don't winterize that until the very end because in case we have a problem out there in the waterways. So.
Mr. Wiltie?
My question maybe is more for Paul. Last week. Oh,
He's
Paul's
gone. He's got to sell some property over there at the county building.
Oh, he's selling property. Well, maybe we can go to follow up. Last week when Paul was sitting here talking with us, he had mentioned that there was possibly a couple of grant opportunities through the state. Remember when Paul mentioned that last week? For
Continue.
law enforcement, for county departments. I was just following up to see if you heard anything more about that.
I haven't heard anything yet. Doug, have you heard anything on that at all or?
That would be, Tim would be knowledgeable about that.
Are we talking about the statutes?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So there's no movement on the statutes, but if they're passed, they're not statutes, they're bills. If they're passed, and my understanding is because of some procedural issues, the legislature is going to adjourn on or about November 8th. So we will get an answer to this in the coming weeks. If they're approved, they're potentially pretty significant opportunities for, in this case, with the first responders of some additional revenue to the county. And I mean significant, the way the statute is written, it would match the special millage for the road patrol. That would be huge. I don't know where the state has the money to do that, but that's not my concern. If it's passed, the bill is written so that grant applications will be due sometime around March 30th and funds will be released in July. So I don't know any more details than that, but that's one definitely that bears watching. And there was another one in there, and it escapes me exactly what some of the goals were, but this is why it was so valuable for me to be at the MAC conference a week ago, because that's where all this was lined up. I hadn't heard about any of it. So we'll be just watching that very closely. If they are approved and signed by the governor, we'll get to work.
So that's high on the radar. And is that a one-time?
That's a good question. It's not really clear in the bill. I'm guessing they're using ARPA money to do this, so it probably is one time, but it's really not clear in the bill what that is.
It was brought up in one of my meetings this week as well, that there's some grants out there to assist with patrolling interstates like I-75. The information it was briefly stated, but I will look into it this week. It was brought up at one of my meetings. So I didn't gather any more information, but I'll talk to that individual, that department head. Yes.
You know what House bill that fell under?
I have it all at the office.
Okay, well, I checked on one House bill and I called Nancy and I called our representative. And there's one that hasn't been looked at since April and it falls along that same line that you were talking about. I don't even know it's the same bill. And it has been looked at since April. It could possibly just be dead and chances are they'll never see it again because it's been so long since it's even been looked at.
Hopefully it's not the same one.
So, well, it's either, it ends with 50 and 51, but I can't remember what the first two numbers are.
Did you write it down?
I have the whole thing with me,
Okay.
but not with me.
Any other
I'll
questions?
talk to you later about that.
Any other questions for the sheriff?
RV patrol keeps going.
Yeah, we got a little bit of time yet. I think it-
No,
No, I think it ran out. It ran out.
It ran out.
November. Yeah.
We have to apply for that now,
Mhm. And we'll have to-
and when they award that in the spring,
Yeah,
so there's no more RV patrol this year.
no, but we got our general patrol out there looking for it though.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
if they get on the road, you're still on the
Yep.
road.
Absolutely.
Well, you got new snowmobile yet?
Not yet, no,
Trailer yet?
not yet.
Before snow?
I would hope so.
Hope so.
Yeah, hoping not to get any. snow.
Everything's on order, right?
Right.
Well, you want snow now, you got a new snowmobile,
Yeah, I don't like driving it.
grant and everything,
Well, we'll see. We'll get it as soon as we can, for sure.
right? And then you got the other one still.
Mhm.
Yep, okay. When we're approved for the snowmobile grant for this year?
I'm not sure. I'd have to check.
Oh,
I'm sure we are.
I hope so.
I'm sure we are.
Let the dog catcher do his own reports, because man, I'll tell you what, he does some nice reports, color pictures and everything.
Yeah, I know. I hear you. You've told me that before, so.
They are nice. We haven't gotten one in a while, but
Well, I know
he
it,
typically does like every 3 months, I think.
it's been quite a while.
It has been. He was doing very nice reports. Go ahead.
Have him do yours.
Mr. Scott made it so that you can go less years on your retiring deal. Is that gonna help you or hurt you?
But you lost me.
Oh, you got 4, the 25 years or whatever it said.
Right.
Years, if it goes to 20, is that gonna help you or hurt you?
I don't know. We'd have to do some figuring on that, and I'd have to get with Tim. He's the number guy, so.
Right.
Just,
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah.
Commissioner Simmons?
I think animal control does a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see them out there a lot, believe me.
Yes.
Just one other thing, just a comment, so, I went to some township halls and they made some comments about something you said at one of the meetings, and they wanted to know about it, and I said, well, if you want to know about it, you're gonna have to go to the sheriff, so there may be some people coming and talk to you,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
yeah.
Anything else, Commissioner Simmons?
No, not until I do my,
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
any training coming up?
Anything from the corrections? Do you have anything, Mr. Howard?
No,
Okay. Did I miss, did you, MSU? We'll do MSU and then I'll come back to you, Breck. I'm sorry.
I think.
Good morning.
Hi, I don't think they'll have as many questions for me, but you never know. So Julie Darton, MSU Extension District Director. I brought apples today because it so happens that today is the Great Apple Crunch,
Hey,
which was started in Michigan and has spread to other Great Lakes states. It was also started really to focus on having kids in school, K through 12, all crunch into an apple at the same time. The advantage of this is to really promote the idea of farm to school, and October is National Farm to School Month. So the idea is the more produce we can get into school lunches, the more benefit it has for local farmers. And it also puts fresh produce in the on the menu at Michigan schools. And as you can imagine, Michigan State University Extension is really involved in all of these because we work with youth, we work with farmers, we're interested in nutrition, and we're interested in community and economic development. So I would invite you to help yourself to an apple. Just some fun facts about this whole thing. The goal this year is to have 400,000 people participating in the Great Apple Crunch. A lot of those will be in school, but it's broadened and it's happening all over the state, and adults are involved as well. I thought you might be curious to know that Michigan has more than 14 million apple trees that are producing a crop. That covers 34,500 acres in our state, and is engaging 775 family farms across the state of Michigan. Michigan apples are available year-round because of climate-controlled atmospheric storage, which means that apples are being held not only at controlled temperatures, but also they reduce the amount of oxygen in that storage, so that we can, when you're finding Michigan apples in stores year-round, it's because of that climate-controlled storage. And that's a really great benefit that helps us extend the life of that crop and extend the fresh produce that's available to everyone in our state. Michigan ranks 3rd nationally in apple production. We're behind New York, and every state is far outpaced by Washington. They rightly deserve their title as the apple production state. And in 2022, so our last apple crop totals, Michigan produced 1.3 billion pounds of apples, which equates to 32.4 million bushels. And so for that reason, and for all of the reasons that Extension is involved in this, I mean, we have research farms, we have educators, we promote every kind of apple product and cider. On our website, you can find all kinds of fun apple recipes. So I hope you'll enjoy an apple today. And thanks so much.
thank you.
comment. Oh, speaking of apples, we do have an apple grower here right in Ogemaw County that does really wonderful apples. I've eaten some of them and they're very good. And if you go to the rec center there on Valley Street, after 3 o'clock, I think you can buy apples there by the pound at that rec center. Cause I asked at a township hall meeting the other night, cause I missed out. I didn't get my apples, purchase them. And so he said, oh, no problem. He says, we have them at the rec center and so you can buy apples there. And I will probably go there today, try to buy some apples. They are very
Fantastic.
good.
Thank you.
All right, yeah. Do you want to mention the orchard, just so everybody knows?
It's the
Zettel Farm and Orchard?
Zettel Farm and
Okay.
Orchard, and he has over 10,000 apple trees. His apples are very, very good.
Yeah, it's amazing. I didn't grow up on a farm or in apple production, but one of the things what I learned about apple trees that I found so interesting is because of grafting, you can grow lots of different varieties on one tree, which is amazing to me.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions?
No, but I'll take an
Alright.
apple.
Well, here, you can start
Thank you.
passing them around. There you go. Yep, no
Here,
problem.
guys. Clerk, did you have something?
Gala and Mac.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I would like clarification on. Because as you guys know, I've sent information in regards to the vacancies in my office. And I am a statutory office and would like to fill those positions as soon as possible. So. What do you guys want more from me and my hire? What do we need to do? I need to fill these positions ASAP.
I mean, I think we need to be very, very cautious here because I think we need to do the same thing across the board. Obviously we passed this on September 28th. So I personally, I understand your position. I'm not saying you can't post it and accept applications, but I would like you to be at the next committee of the whole, which is next week with information about the position and everything that Tim stated. I want to make sure that we're being consistent here and we pass this resolution and that we stick with it. Moving forward. Go ahead.
Okay, how many people are you short right now?
2.
Okay. My consideration is that, this is my own personal opinion. We have an election coming up and the clerk's office is in charge of that election. You know, it's a 9-day election, trying to get ready for this thing.
It's already begun.
I don't think we probably should delay it too long so I think she should still be at an interview and stuff.
I don't disagree with that, but again, we need to make sure that we are doing
Right.
what we voted on in
Yeah.
my.
Right, and I understand that.
Not last minute stuff and we meet every week.
I know we do. So what I'm saying is that she should still be at an interview and then, we'll discuss it next week, but still continue to interview because she is so short.
Just hold off on the actual Harry
I will,
until we approve it.
I will be 100% transparent. I have been interviewing and if I have to wait another week, and I completely understand what you're saying, I 100% get it. If I have to wait another week to bring it to you before I can offer these positions, I'm looking 3 weeks out before I can even have somebody in my office. The one position who's going to friend of the court, she's done, next week is her last week. The other one who went to the treasurer's office started over there this week. I just think that's delaying it a little bit too much. But I completely understand we have this policy, or
We do.
I just don't want to wait if I don't have to.
Do you have any applicants that,
I have one that I'm ready to go with right now.
I make a comment?
Good.
So I agree with Commissioner David and Commissioner Simmons, what they both had to say. Especially with Commissioner Simmons' point that we have this whole new monster of this voting system coming up. Clear that breaks down 2 people. we're all here right now together. Can we discuss this right now? We don't have to wait another week?
I mean, you guys have put it out there. I just said how I feel it needs to be put on the agenda and it needs to, all the information in front of us. Job description, everything set up. That's up to you guys. I say no, we wait till next week. I agree with going forward with the interviews. But I think we have set policies and we have attempted to avoid urgencies and, you know, just like the stuff being put on our agenda, it has to, there's a deadline and I understand both perspectives, but I would like to personally stick to this. I didn't even know that there was 2 vacancies. I knew that there was one. Didn't that other individual just recently accept that for the, when they were here for friend of the court? They were here and asked us about the position. That was that last week? 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. Wasn't that this week that she accepted the position?
No,
Is it the same position?
I sent emails informing everybody of
Yeah,
both
I've
positions.
read
Yeah.
emails regarding both of these.
No, the question is on the other side, registered deeds position. Is that the one that the judge came here and explained he had the opening?
Friend of the court.
Friend of the court.
Friend of the
Or
court.
treasurer, both of those positions, yes. Uh,
As far as the treasurer's one, that was done.
that's done. She's
Karen
been
made
out,
it clear
she's
that she
there
accepted,
Yeah.
she had made the offer before the
before all
28th.
that.
Correct.
So that vacancy was open then immediately before the 28th.
That was what, a month ago when you gave us that, right? Probably a month ago.
I heard hers, but
Yeah,
I didn't know that that individual was coming from the clerk's office. I heard that through the grapevine.
Well, yeah, and that was maybe a lack of clarification. But that vacancy came open before the 28th. You know, yeah, I wouldn't be, you know, what is that vacancy? The first one? What was the title of that first one?
The vacancy. that
The
went to
accounts
Karen.
So
payable,
what-
yeah, the accounts payable, the financial,
What do they do?
they pay the bills. They do all of, they do so Tracy does half the claims, that person does the other half, so right now Tracy's having to do both, or I'm.
Well, I'm not asking you how you're fixing it now. I'm asking you basically, without looking at a job.
They do all the
description or by
Tuesday,
pen on
Thursday
paper.
bills.
That's
They
what I'm
do
asking you what they
the
do.
vitals, they help out at the count, they're the person who's in the office 100% of the time. So when we have the 3 court clerks who we potentially, well, 2 court clerks potentially could be in court at the same time. We have that position is in the office all day long, answers the phone, answers the windows. But their main responsibility is paying bills.
Was that vacancy prior to 9/28?
Yeah,
Then
Yeah.
that position can be filled without our approval.
no,
The one after was after 9/28, correct?
I gotta say, Karen told us that she was hiring her before the 28th.
well, that's
28th
not
is
that
when we
position,
approved.
friend of the court. I'm
Well,
looking to see when I got that. I can. Without giving too much information, with the interviews and everything that we've had, the person that I'm ready to go with is a substantial amount of savings. I don't,
what position you're hiring her for?
family court clerk for Judge Williams.
Oh,
Court
okay,
clerk.
you don't have a candidate for the claims
No,
position.
we've been interviewing. We have two interviews, 2 final interviews tomorrow, second interviews.
I don't feel like you need our approval for the 9/28, the one that occurred before 9/28, but the one after, I would like more information on. If we discuss it next week at committee of the whole, we don't need a resolution. We can make the decision
Right,
next week.
right. So the only requirement in that statement was your review and approval. That's it. I mean, you don't need to go through anything else. So the clerk comes in, makes the presentation, you say, okay, that's it. And it's just really a review. The budget's already there, but we will have the numbers so that you can see those as well and see.
These are all budgeted. They're all budgeted positions.
They're all budgeted. I'm gonna be
I agree with
under
you,
my
Jenny.
budget. It was October 2nd when I got the
Fill
resignation
the
letter.
deputy clerk
It's before 9:28.
claims position now.
Next week, have all the information in front of us and we can give you the go ahead if we all agree next week. That's one week.
Other.
Continue with what you're doing, just. I think we made this policy. I feel we need to stick with it. Any elected officials on the phone? Mr. Nichols?
Yes, just to let you know, we have Veteran of the Year ceremony coming up on November 11th, which is a Saturday. They're going to be having it at the Forwards Conference Center. Our Veteran of the Year is Charlie Puzak, Army veteran, and 11 o'clock on the 11th at Forwards Conference Center. And I'll get you a resolution here probably within the next couple of weeks. Before the November 11th ceremony. So that's all I have.
Great, thank you. Any other elected officials, department heads on the phone? I think I missed anybody. Matters from the floor, any commissioners?
I have nothing.
Yeah, let's just talk about, I brought this up last week. I think the importance of a committee to be formed with our stakeholders for the upcoming millages. I know Tim was gone last week. I spoke with Tim about that. Tim thinks it's a wise idea. I think this needs to get moving ahead as soon as possible.
I thought it's supposed to be on committee as a whole next week, is it?
If you say it is.
I thought we said that last week.
To be put on the committee of the whole for the millages. You're not talking about the budget. You're not talking about the budget committee, correct?
No.
I think both those
Oh, I'm
need to be
sorry.
put on for next week.
But the budget committees, didn't you say you were gonna have that on for next week?
Next, committee as a whole next week, yeah.
I
I'm
think-
sorry, I thought that's what you were talking
No,
about.
this is just for to me, get the stakeholders together to strategize for when millages should go. That's what I'm talking about.
I think both those could be put on the committee of the whole for next week. Any other matters on the floor?
Well, on that note, we had information about the Headley at the last meeting and we barely talked about it at all. Is there interest in the commission to go after a Headley rollback next year?
I plan on talking about that next week, but
Okay, that's fine with me.
I'd like to.
We got time.
November 21st is a deadline to get it on the ballot if we do that. Is that correct, Rick?
Yep.
Okay.
I'd like to just make a comment on that.
Go ahead.
I am 100% clear, and precise on how I feel about putting Headley on. I feel that it needs to go on for this coming February. I feel that we need to have a committee put together on this of very strong-willed people that have knowledge in this and that want to learn the knowledge. And then we need to know exactly, we need to be on the same page. We have to have the same vision. We have to go out there and we have to educate everyone, not just our townships. We need to go to every single committee, donut shops, coffee shops. We need to go everywhere. And the most important thing is we have to be crystal clear on educating, but we all have to say the same message. And then with that being said, I think it's very important that committee, with the help of Tim and of course us commissioners, we know what the money that will be generated from that first year, along with educating the people that we're going to have to vote in February. We also want to tell them, this is what this money is going to be used for. They need and they deserve to know what the money is going to be used for. That's my stance on it right now.
Any other matters on the floor? Motions for adoption? Commissioners reports. Commissioner Simmons?
On the Parks and Rec yesterday, we have a situation right now where we're looking for volunteers to help take care of the deer park right now. And the point of contact for all this is, Mr. Scott. He is the point of contact that's taking all the information in and spreading it out. So that's what we're looking for right now, volunteers or, there's the option to provide compensation too, so. For that individual that like to help out with the deer park. One other thing is, I saw an article about the inflation in Michigan and Michigan is in the top 15 as far as inflation, as far as the United States goes. When I go to township meetings, I have related to them about the loss of revenue that we have in this county. Headley override is one of them. Inflation's another one. And some other laws that have changed that have also reduced our funds. And they talked about layoffs, and I said, because of all these reductions, the money isn't there anymore. And the only way, the Headley rollback is a big thing here. We're over $1 million less now than we were before. But Tim, I want to ask a question. With the housing it is right now, and the way the Headley reads with the inflation and the most if housing is more than the inflation, and I think it is, I'm not sure, will then Headley come back in again and bite us in the butt again?
Well, the Headley rule is, your revenue increase can be 5% or the rate of inflation, whichever is less.
Right.
So number one, we'll do it backwards, whichever is less. When it's less, you're not getting ahead. You theoretically would be staying even. But there was at least 1 year here in the past 5 where inflation was greater than 5%. And so your total collection was under what the inflationary rate was. So immediately behind the 8 ball. And that's just what the law says. Now there are other factors in there like uncapping. So if there's a sale of property, then a taxable value is reset at the current rate. So that factors in as well. So that's fortunately made up for some of that over the years. But recall that this Headley Amendment was passed to the Constitution was passed in 1978.
Yeah.
There's not been an override here. So almost 45 years now of the rollback year after year. So that's where the override comes into play. And the voters said, this is the millage rate that we agreed to for your operation with the county. But the state constitution amendment says, well, you can't really collect that. You've got to roll that back. So that's where we are. I'm not sure if that answered your question or not, but yeah, it's that 5% rate of inflation formula that really, I think impacts us the most.
Yes, it does. So, but when, because the inflation was high last year. I mean, we received cost of living allowances on Social Security, et cetera, and that was above that 5%. So is it going to impact us again with another rollback?
Actually, Randy Booth would be the better one to answer that about,
I should have asked him that when he was here.
the coming year. But that being said, the formula is what it is. And I think you had mentioned earlier in the meeting about other statutes that have changed that have, for instance, the exemption of from property tax for our veterans, which I think we're all in favor of veterans. But when the state does that, the state is not impacted because they're not dependent on the property tax. Local communities are impacted by that. When the personal property tax formula was changed, we were impacted by that. So each time the state makes an adjustment to the Property Tax Act, we're the ones that feel it. They don't. So I don't think from a state standpoint, it's real because it doesn't impact. If it were sales tax or income tax, yeah, they would feel that, but this is one they don't feel.
I'd like to just add a little more. I think we should ask Randy again to come next week to our meeting. But yet also what we know is real and right in front of us is numbers. The first year would generate over $1 million for the county. The second year would be, I believe it was $1.4 million. And the thing is, this is not like a white horse that's going to come in and save the day and save some jobs. What this is it's an opportunity for us to continue not to just plug holes and kick the can. We have to make these hard decisions, but this is an opportunity for us to get fluid as a government to have money in the bank and to make some good, strong decisions moving forward with where this money can be used.
Commissioner Simmons, were you done?
No, I have one more thing. When the taxes are collected and all these villages are laid out, correct me if I'm wrong, Karen. We have to make the townships whole, so if we get paid the taxes or not.
Right.
So that's another thing. People, when taxes are not paid, the county still has to give the sheriff his millage, give cost of living their millage. They have to give all the millages so that is a payout we have too. And the only way we can get reimbursed for it is if people would pay the taxes. And I understand it's really hard, but that's a very large impact on this county. Because I mean, I've seen those boxes go out, and it's boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes.
Karen said it was like 3.5 million, right?
I'm projecting 3.5 million payout in this one.
That's tax revolving fund.
Yeah,
That's
and that's
what
what
we
we-
got it there.
And that's what we have to pay out, but we're not getting it in because the taxes.
Slowly, you're getting it in very slowly
Late.
and with interest.
Right.
Did you attend any township meetings? All this information, all this is gonna be put on next week for the committee of the whole.
Yes, I did, and I told him about personal property. I told him about the veterans. I told him about all the things that Tim mentioned, plus what I mentioned. Yes, I do talk to them about this because they ask about it, about the layouts. And I just tell them because of all the changes and the unfunded mandates that we're made to do, the money's not there now. Because everything's gone up except our taxes. So we have no choice.
Mr. Mayo?
I went to West Branch Township. They're getting a new furnace and air conditioning to save money. And their study is done on Peach Lake. We're gonna have a meeting on that later, but it is done. Cummins, they're working on new pumps for their sewer line. It's their deal, and the Committee on Aging sold a truck. Beefaroo bought it.
Who bought it?
Beefaroo.
Oh.
Beaver.
Who bought it?
Beefaroo,
Oh,
the restaurant in Rose City.
yeah, I know. You've seen the ads in the paper.
Anything else?
That's it.
Commissioner Scott?
Well, I attended the city of West Branch a week ago. Talked a lot about the project, the road project going on in town, and they talked about the city streets. They're paving priorities. And also they made mention that they made their first half payment for the airport. Parks and Rec, as Commissioner Simmons talked about, the need for part-time or volunteer, somebody to help us with the deer is our caretaker up there has had a massive heart attack. And he's in the hospital and it's in pretty poor shape. So we're trying to come up with a contingency plan because the deer need to be fed every day and watched after and counted and everything else. So we're looking for volunteers / we can afford a little bit of a stipend to pay for gas or something like that, but we don't know. The caretaker's wife has had medical issues in the last few months, so we don't know. We don't know the future right now. Will he be able to come back to work and take care of things? We don't know yet. So we're right in limbo right now. But if you know anybody that would like to help out, let them get a hold of me. I'm expecting a call this morning. So yeah, other than that, the RV park, we had a Halloween party there last week. It was very well attended, I guess. I was too scared to go, so I didn't go, but they had a hayride, they had games for kids, they had, I don't know, how many kids they have there, they say 30, 40 kids there or more or something.
Yeah, they had quite a
They
few.
had quite a few, and it went really good. The RV park will close the end of the month. And then be weatherized. And we were right about even on the budgets this year. But or for last fiscal. So I have airport meeting later today, right? No, next week.
Next week.
Next week. Yeah. So I'll have a report in a couple of weeks.
Thank you. Is that it?
Yeah, I was unable to attend Foster Township meeting, and Ogemaw Township meeting is next week also, so.
Commissioner Wiltie?
I've got a number of my boards coming up still, EMS, Transit, and EDC. Mills Township, everything's going real well with the Skidway Lake Park, again, with all local contractors. It's gonna be a beautiful park when that's done. Blight is always an issue there. Blight, we have seen some increases and people coming together, getting a little more united and cleaning up their yards, but we got a long ways to go on that. Roads, again, is always a conversation. It's one of my items that I'm gonna kind of start tackling more, and it helps with being the liaison with the road commission. But we do need to do a better job over in Mills Township with our roads, and we need to spend more money. Mills Township does. High Banks, the residents there are very, very happy and pleased to find out that the county is gonna retain ownership. Danny Johnson is, I think, a great member of the Parks and Rec. I'm gonna work with Danny along with Scott Bell to start the 501c3 to get that involved with local residents and businesses to raise money so we can maintain that with no expense to the county. So everyone's really happy about that. DHHS had a meeting, they're fully staffed, everything's going pretty well there. There was a comment brought up that there's a few more homeless people in the community. I don't know a lot about that, but it's something that they're looking in more, that there has been a few more homeless people around. And we're trying to make sure that they're getting taken care of and seeing whatever means possible to try to make their lives better. Regional Housing Partnership, I'm the chair for that, for Ogemaw County. We have everything set into the state. We got a needs assessment going to be starting soon. Looking forward to seeing what that can bring to the county for us. And that's going to be, that's going to take some time. But like I always say, I'm going to stay full pressure on that. Road Commission, I had a meeting there this past Wednesday morning. Road Commission's just finishing up a lot of their projects for the season. They're gonna be buying a few new vehicles. They agreed on a couple new trucks. There's 37 residents up in Island Lakes, which is north of Rose City, that they are pulling their private road agreement from. They're having some issues, they're pulling it away. And we all know that there's a lot of private roads here in the county that the Road Commission oversees throughout the entire year. And it sounds like eventually with time, they'd like to start no longer taking care of those. So that's going to be an issue as we move forward with a lot of residents of the county. Other than that, I attended the 100-year anniversary this morning for the township, Chamber of Commerce. It was very well attended. It was nice to be there. I spoke a little bit, talked for county commissioners. And the quarterback there, Heather, does a fantastic job. We have a lot of great businesses throughout the county, but we definitely, West Branch being the most populated and has the most businesses. And we need to keep the throttle down on that. And that's why I think it's so important that we continue the talks to hopefully eventually bring the EDC money back, or even a partial money back to the EDC. Because again, even with the downfalls financially of the county, we still need to keep the pressure on to support our businesses, create new businesses. New businesses bring new people bring more revenue to the county. So it's very important that we keep in mind that money for the EDC. And then lastly, tonight we have our second workshop for the EDC at 6 o'clock. Phil back there is our leader. does a great job. And that tonight is gonna be at 6 o'clock at the Michigan Works EDC building, and it's gonna be about business collaboration. So businesses collaborating together to be more efficient, and in the end, to make more money and help each other out. So that's all I have.
Go ahead.
Is the transit meeting, on the 19th,
Correct. 11 o'clock at the airport,
9 o'clock?
11 a.m.
11, yeah.
Yep.
I know that.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Just verifying.
I'll give a quick report. Transit, we know the construction started out there for the cold storage. All the trees have been cleared. The site's pretty much prepped, ready to go, for them to start with the pole barn construction there. You know, we did a lot of work on the fascia and soffit out there. I know I mentioned that, but the transit it's really looking good out there. The morale out there is good. A lot of good things going on.
I have one question. Those are the trees, are they still gonna be that close to the building?
It appears the way it's gonna stay where it is right now. But once, we'll keep an eye on it. I think where everything's at, I think we're gonna be safe with the trees being on the east side of the building. Typically, when we get strong winds, it's more out of the west, but
Yeah,
I think we're gonna be fine.
all right. I was just thinking about insurance purposes.
No, it's a good question.
Michigan Works, there was not a meeting this past month because they had the Career Crest at the Ryder Center at Saginaw Valley. That was very, very well attended. And that's always a very big event for Michigan Works for high school students. Ogemaw Heights did attend that. I believe their sophomore class attended that this year. Hardwood Lake Association had their annual meeting this past week at the Logan Township Hall. They had a report on the lake. They did 4 weed treatments. Sounds like the majority of the residents for their that area were fairly happy with the outcome of those 4 treatments. Cost was for those 4 treatments was right around the same. There was a slight increase, but nothing substantial. They do have a couple $100 remaining from the amount they collected compared to what it cost for those treatments. They are on the lookout. There is a new weed that is been found in southern Michigan. It came from Florida. They do believe it will be up here in the next year or 2. There is a pesticide spray that will work for this weed, but apparently it is quite a nuisance. It is coming this way. And I don't recall the name of the weed, but I did see a picture. 911 committee, our 911 meeting, I had that this past week as well. They did have 2 employees resigned last month. So they are in the process of training 2 new employees. So there's a little bit more overtime this past month compared to what there has been. We also voted last night for a policy for social media post, accepting gifts from individuals, and as far as posting that on social media moving forward. We're looking at also updating the bylaws for 911. We are going to have a special meeting on that. There's going to be some individuals from the state attend that. We don't have a date yet, but that will probably be next month. I attended 3 townships, Churchill, Logan, and Hill last week. They all are going fairly smooth. Churchill's spent some of their ARPA funds on the hall. Has been painted. They put some windows in. They purchased a picnic area. Why can't I think of the name? A wooded picnic pavilion little thing. It's very nice for residents of Churchill Township to stop and have a picnic or a big birthday party. We had our meeting outside. It was a really nice day. Everything's going pretty. They also increased their funds for return checks. Apparently they had a couple return checks and it's quite an ordeal for them to go through. So they did increase their funds for that. Logan Township, they had some questions for Randy. I know they were going to reach out to Randy, so they tabled that from Randy Booth. Garbage, they're looking at a 3 to 5 year contract. Cost save, I believe, stayed the same this past year. Roads was always a topic in Logan. They have fixed 2 roads. They were fairly pleased with those roads that have been fixed. Still some issues among board members, but it is improving. Hill Township, those meetings run very, very smooth. They did have a land split. Jeremy Card was there, gave a presentation on that. They talked about the library touch, the fire board. Those are always very well attended. Lots of Hill Township, there's lots of little lakes around there. And those meetings are ran very well and quite efficient. The opioid committee meeting, that is tonight. I will not be attending. Are you gonna be there, Commissioner Wiltie? Okay, so it's been a busy 2 weeks. That's it for me. Anybody miss anything?
I'd just like to make one more comment.
Go ahead.
I don't want anybody that lives on private roads that the road commission is maintaining to start freaking out or anything. It's just, there's certain ones that are more troubled than others for them. It's not like they're gonna start dropping these or anything. I just brought it up that with time, something that could head in that direction.
I read that. That was in our iPad for the report from the road commission. I had heard something down the grapevine about that area you were just talking about, so I read that last night.
Yeah, on Island Lights.
Yes,
Um,
Commissioner Simmons?
This is directed to Commissioner Scott. I have something on my calendar. It says Nature Park ORV for this Saturday.
That's a group for veterans. They have a big side-by-side ride. And they just stop by there. They started that a year or two ago. They contacted us. Is it okay if we stop by and take a look, stop by your park? And we said, oh, absolutely.
Oh, so
Nice.
Nothing planned then from.
No,
Okay.
it's like an all-day thing. They 5 or 6 come at a time, but something to do with the veterans.
How nice.
It's cool.
It's a big ride, like 100 machines or something.
General public comment. Any general public comment? Come on up. You got 3 minutes.
Morning,
Good morning.
This guy.
my name is Phil Durst.
Thanks for coming.
MSU Extension. And I thought I'd give you a little TV update. It's been a while since I talked to you about TV. I thought it'd be good to update you on what's happening with TV. So, TV depends on surveillance both of deer and of cattle herds, both beef and dairy cattle herds. In 2022, there was 28 positive deer identified in Northeast Michigan, one of which of those was in Ogemaw County. When there's a positive deer identified, then there's a 10-mile circle drawn around that deer when the deer is taken, and they test cattle herds in that area to find out if chance any cattle herd became infected. Cattle herds have not all and so the same thing occurred in Iosca County and Crawford County. So Iosca County had 1 positive deer. These are border counties. Crawford County had 1 positive deer. Same thing, 10-mile circle, cattle herds to be tested. I have a little difficulty getting the cattle herds scheduled to be tested. Our producers they don't like getting tested. It's a pain in the neck for them. And they fear the results, frankly. Cattle herd is infected. It means a lot of hassle. So they have until the end of this year to get either tested or scheduled in January, or else they actually lose the right to ship cattle. And that's a pretty big deal. So far this year, there have been 834 deer tested, no positive animals so far. Of course, we're coming to hunting season. Reports I hear are that deer numbers are up. Certainly, it's not even across the board, or up more in some areas than other areas. But there's a lot of deer out there. More deer, more potential for transmission of TB, of any disease. TB being one of those diseases. So I would encourage you all to think about shooting more deer, and we need more does shot. Does control the population. Bucks don't control the population. You can have 1 buck and he can service a lot of does. So does control the population. We need to shoot does. And we need to reduce the deer numbers. There's a lot of damage that deer do in regard to that. There's a TB herd and hunter meeting in Alpena in December. I'm part of that. It's an opportunity to get information out to people. But just thought I'd give you the opportunity to ask any questions you have about TB, because it does affect our county. It does affect what we do here.
Thank you.
If they get a milk cow test positive, do they have to cease milking for the whole herd?
Oh, so excellent question. If a milk cow tests positive, do they have to cease milking or cease shipping the milk? Okay. Yes, in fact, the milk is not shipped then to the cooperative until there's a depopulation of any animal that is test positive or that tests suspect. And then they go through a period of time where they intensively test the herd until the herd can be released from quarantine. The herd is quarantined during that time, and animals cannot be shipped except to slaughter. So it
Wouldn't
is,
want you coming around either.
no,
No,
The whole
But-
herd.
yeah.
but not knowing is not the way to conquer something. The way to conquer something is to know what you have, to deal with what you have.
But
Thank you, sir.
May I make a public comment about EDC?
Please.
Okay.
Get up.
Yes,
Hi,
yes.
my name is Scott Durst. I'm representing the Ogemaw County EDC, and I thank you for the comment about the workshop tonight. You are all invited. And then next Thursday is the 19th, is our economic outlook at 7:30 a.m. at Forwards Conference Center. It's free breakfast. You're all invited to that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Any other public comment?
Yes, Sister Jenny.
Did you have one, sir? I thought your hand was up.
You need me up there?
I know you're kind of injured. Can you make sure we can hear you?
I can make you hear me.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, Dan Dobzowski from Buxton Township. I just wanted to, I've been paying attention to the times I wasn't here about the budget talk and concerns, and just kind of wondering what's gonna go on with the future budget, and how often are you guys gonna talk about it? Is it gonna be weekly or monthly, so that we don't fall in this big deficit in the 12th inning again? You guys called out Karen before, what she's doing different from her past deficit, and she answered you guys nicely that she bounces pretty much every day to the penny. So there's gotta be a better way to handle this, and our opinion. I mean, we're watching sales tax for $20. I mean, I think we need to watch the bigger numbers along the way. Whether you guys, like I said, whether you talk about it once a month, weekly, don't want to see the county get in the deficit like they are now with 1.2 million and having playoffs. I mean, nobody wants that. It's terrible across the board for everybody. So that's the only thing I wanted to bring up and see if we could come up with a different solution.
Thank you, sir. Any other public comment? Any public comment on the phone? No public comment on the phone. Motion to adjourn.
Motion,
Motion with support to adjourn. All in favor, say yes.
yes.
Opposed, motion carries.
Have a good day, everyone.
Well, I'm glad I've got this apple.
I know, it looks nice and juicy, doesn't it?